When we think about a story, we have to remember who's telling it. Poppy Playtime's main villain is Experiment 1006, the prototype. But wait a minute, in a world where toys are tired of being played with and want to do the playing, we have to consider who is telling us he's evil to begin with. Poppy and the Playtime Company have proven time and time again to put their personal interests over the morals accepted by society. One of them being not to harm kids. The prototype's true identity has not been revealed. It's widely speculated to be Elliot Ludwig, but more on that later. We know the prototype has a metal claw-like arm, and from his shadow in Chapter 4, that he travels on 6 spider-like metal feet. No further physical descriptions are known yet. The prototype has a high level of intelligence, proven by his ability to orchestrate the Hour of Joy. He was known to speak with people in their mind telepathically, like he did with Theodore Grambel, otherwise known as Experiment 1188 Catnap. He managed to burn Kissy Missy in Chapter 4, so it's safe to assume the fire element is part of his arsenal. From scientist to a boy known as Ollie, the prototype has the ability to mimic and change his voice.
I learn something new about you every day. Absolutely. I learn something new about you.
After grabbing the corpses of Mommy Longlegs and Catnap, we now know that he also has the ability to stretch his limbs and produce the red nightmare gas. Remember how I said that it matters who's telling the story? Well, something that is often overlooked is the prototype's acts of kindness. Before we even meet the prototype, we know from a VHS tape in Chapter 4 that he took on the Ollie persona to care for and get closer to Poppy.
I know what you're doing, Poppy. Talking like that? Don't think for a second that I believe it. Just tell me what you're feeling. Please, just talk to me honestly.
He also strangely has not eliminated her yet, but just puts her in her case. He decides to save Theo instead of escaping because he cared about him and ultimately offered to end Catnap's suffering in Chapter 3. In Chapter 4, we discover from yet another VHS tape that he is hiding the orphan safe and sound somewhere in his lair.
To give me labs access, at least with the two of us.
That is out of the question.
You listen. Fine, but you have no staff, virtually no test subjects. It's hardly ideal conditions.
Although some people may think the Hour of Joy was purely evil, you have to remember the prototype was trying to overthrow an entire company that exploited, experimented, and ultimately killed children for profit in science. I believe that Poppy may have been put in the case because she got innocent tourists killed. That could be one interpretation for the doctor trying to tell us that Poppy's role in the Hour of Joy was actually more sinister than we are led to believe. Now, this is my personal theory, but in Chapter 3, we discover a radio that states a dead boy was found at Elliot Ludwig's home.
Tragic news this morning as of 9:45 a.m. Local authorities report that the body of a young boy has been found on the estate of the late Elliot Ludwig.
I think this boy was dying and Elliot tried to save him, turning him into the prototype. This boy must have been Ollie because Poppy asks in Chapter 4 if there ever really was an Ollie, to which the prototype replies, "There was, but that was a very long time ago. Take a listen."
Was there ever an Ollie?
Yes, there was.
But that was a very long time ago.
It's no secret that we discover Harley Sawyer does not like Elliot, and I believe with the help of Leith Pierre, they tricked the prototype into absorbing Elliot Ludwig, making him and Ollie one. The names of Ollie and Elliot also contain the same letters except for the letter T. I don't know if that has any significance. The prototype has tasked Harley Sawyer to make a breakthrough in an experiment. It seems they're on a deadline, so it must relate to the existing toys or the orphans. Considering his care for the orphans, we can assume it is not something entirely sinister, but we also know he told Poppy that these toys could never live a normal life outside of the factory. I think he may be trying to eliminate their rage and hunger, or possibly create new bodies to transfer them into, also creating immortality as a byproduct. He also could be trying to cure any diseases that they have. So by now you must know that we have to protect the prototype because he wasn't the one putting kids into toys. He tried to free them and stop the operations. The individual who has been betraying us from the beginning is Poppy. She has been using us to complete her goals and left us for dead when cornered. I don't think she's telling us the full truth. After all, the game is called Poppy Playtime, and even though it's playtime, she's not the one being played with. Another truly evil individual is Leith Pierre, but that's a whole nother video. I do think he will be a part of any future sequels or spin-offs after we handle business with Poppy and the prototype. If you've made it this far, make sure you guys are commenting down below your speculations for what's going to happen in Chapter 5. Subscribe for more Poppy Playtime content, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry.